When were you appointed? What day?
I was appointed at the last meeting.
Okay, welcome everyone. We're opening up the meeting today for the IDA. We'd like to start off with a roll call. Marlene?
Present.
Bill?
Present.
Anton? Present. Paul? Present. Wanda? Maybe excused?
Is we hear from Wanda, or we expecting?
She's out of town on business.
So she's excused, okay.
And we'd like to welcome a new board member, Dennis.
Present.
Present. Great. I think we have a quorum, so we can get started. Can I first get a motion here to approve the minutes from our last meeting on November 19th?
I'll make a motion.
Now, do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Great, so moved. Next up is committee reports, governance report. Marlene?
All right, so today we actually, I think that we have a resolution to accept Dennis, right, that we should do. So whereas a vacancy exists on the Albany County Industrial Development Agency following the resignation of William Clay, and whereas it is the pleasure of this honorable body that Dennis Feedy be appointed to serve as a member of the Albany County IDA. Now therefore be it resolved that the Albany County Legislature, that Dennis Feedy is hereby appointed to serve as a member of the Albany County Industrial Development Agency and shall serve at the pleasure of the Albany County Legislature. And be it further resolved that the clerk of the county legislature is directed to forward certified copies of this resolution to the appropriate county officials.
Right. So, not to interrupt, but so we have a housekeeping resolution before you. The governance committee recommended Mike as chair. If you look at the housekeeping resolution, it starts on page 4. This is our standard, what do we do for IDAs? Specifically, if you look at Schedule A to that resolution on page 7, it goes through the different officers of the agency.
And notice on there, Chris is still listing Teal Becker as the auditors.
Yeah,
That can change.
we will update that, sure.
BST.
We'll update that. But if you could take a look at the officers, we've got Mike as chair, Dennis as vice chair, Bill as treasurer, Marlene as secretary, and Anton as assistant secretary. And on the next page, on page 8, are the different compositions of the different committees. I think are all holding the same, but I wanted to make sure everybody was all set with that. And if we're good with that, we'll be the first and the second on this resolution to get it passed.
Bill, you're okay, right, with being chair of the audit committee, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, and Dennis, you're good with chair of the finance committee?
Yes, I am.
Great. Okay, so can we get a motion then, to approve the housekeeping minutes?
Sure, I'll make a motion.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Thanks, Marlene. CFO report. Amy.
In your packets are the draft financials for December 2024. These are pending any changes that may come of the audit that is currently happening. So as of year-to-date December 2024, our revenue was $339,000 compared to a budgeted amount of $301,000. This was mostly derived from fees from Belinsky's, Atlas Copco, CHPE, and Regeneron. Our expenses year-to-date were $345,000, which were $44,000 over the budgeted amount of $300,000. This was mainly due to the increase in legal fees that we had to engage Hodgson Russ to do some work for us on ABO issues from prior years and getting our website up to date in compliance with the ABO.
That's all in the rearview mirror at this point?
Yes, yes.
The ABO issues?
Hopefully,
Thankfully.
fingers crossed. I think if you take a look at our website, you'll see that we've really brought it up to date and to be compliant with the ABO and their requests, knowing that they're keeping an eye on us. want to be
It just
compliant.
seemed there were some conflict with some of the numbers going back a few years, and that.
There had to be some changes to, yeah, not only, yeah, changes to the parish reports for project numbers and whatnot. So I want to thank Shannon for helping us out with that. She
Absolutely.
really
Big help.
is the ABO master, as we like to call her.
No outstanding items, though, everything is current, everything's posted.
Yes.
So there are no,
And, you know, to that effect, I will be working on the parish reports for this year, which are due to the ABO by March 31st. Quick audit update. I hope to have a draft of the audit by the end of this week, if not early next week, and then I can distribute it to the audit committee for them to look
We
over.
have to have another meeting this month.
We do. We have to have another meeting at the end of the month for approval of the audit and the parish.
Going to do that concurrent with, there's a CRC meeting, right? That's
Yes.
Yeah, it'd be the
March,
26th.
25th or something
Yep.
like that.
So we'll hold both of those that day for, Those
public
purposes.
notices, all that.
Yeah, we'll get all that posted.
Just like a normal meeting.
does anyone have any questions on the financials? Okay, and then I have one other thing. We received our annual invoice from CEG, so I just wanted to ask the board for approval for the $10,000 investment that we've paid in previous years.
So that 10,000 is like a retainer for them to do any reporting that we need to have when we're looking at the pros and cons of each individual project?
No, that is Camoin. Yeah,
Oh, the
it's-
membership.
yeah, they call it an investment, but it's
Okay.
basically
Marlene, you
dues.
represent the
That's
IDA,
right.
is that correct?
Yes. I was there this morning.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So it's the same amount, 10,000 that we've paid in previous years, but I just wanted to get the board's approval prior to
Sure,
paying.
sure. Can we get a motion to
Sure,
move that?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, can you get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So moved.
That's it for me.
That's it?
That's
Great, great. Can we get a motion then to approve? Yeah, sure.
The balance sheet shows a $3 million CD coming due. I assume that was
That-
rolled over.
it was.
Rolled over all in one
Yes.
chunk.
Yep.
It was a new maturity or broken up or?
Yep, no, it's all in one chunk. And then at the next meeting, I'll have updated financials for this year,
Okay,
and it'll have the new information on there.
okay, thank you.
Just be quick, that's a great point. Is there, should we be staggering those or, I don't know what the capital outlays of what the, doesn't look like anything is budgeted, but
No, we don't have any foreseeable cash calls right now, so, we can take a look at that.
Yeah.
okay.
I think right now,
Whatever you think, I mean, just.
Yeah, I think it's most likely coming due in April, so that's something I could look into prior to the renewal.
Push them hard.
I-
Okay. Do we get a motion to approve the financials? Motion.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, great, so moved. Kevin, CEO report.
yeah, just one thing briefly. We have felt some effects from the new administration down in Washington, most notably on our offshore wind prospects. The new administration has expressed a reluctance to pursue that industry. Everybody is kind of paused for right now, but there was a industry discussion I was involved with, and the emerging collective wisdom on this is that this is a pause and not an outright curtailment of federal support, regardless of what was said during the campaign. And the way it was explained is that, if nothing else, the new administration tends to be transactional. And and given the amount of money that's already been spent on offshore wind and the amount of money and the benefits that are accruing to, red states, that it's thought that this will reemerge. But for right now, everything is kind of sort of on hold. Taking that one step further, I met with a group of other economic development organizations from around the region, and there appears to be a halting of projects by European and Canadian companies in the U.S. I assume that's part of the tariff war, if you will. At that time, I had not seen anything to that effect, but we were informed recently that Atlas Copco, which, as you know, is owned by a German company, their board voted not to approve. They didn't disapprove it, but they did not approve the project. So the project is on hold for right now.
Still under Gloryville?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So, yeah, we'll see. It's early days, we'll see what comes of this. But these impending trade wars probably don't bode well for foreign direct investment in the U.S. and particularly in New York and Albany County. So we'll just stay on top of that. But the big projects, the billion-dollar projects that we're talking about with for the Port of Freeman's, are kind of on hold for right now too.
Okay.
But that concludes my report.
Okay, great. Well, appreciate that. Anything, I think the next item is other business with the Vista Real Estate Development. Kevin
Were
or?
we expecting somebody from,
Kathleen Beck said she was gonna join Teams and she hasn't come in.
oh,
What
she's gonna
about
join
Nicole?
electronically?
Nicole?
Yeah, we're gonna join electronically. They're not on yet. I have it open here
Well,
on my laptop.
let's just kind of tee this up.
Yeah.
We were contacted by Columbia Development that they have a expression of interest to sell the property at Vista Technology Campus upon which Plug Power is based. As you know, the deal with Plug Power was just a lease arrangement with an option to buy, but Plug did not exercise that. And an investor has stepped in to buy this property from Columbia Development, and we're informed that all of the same job numbers and restrictions and clawback will apply to the new owner of the, as if and when you approve this transfer of property, will apply to the new owner as well as as it did to Columbia Development. And I think we were supposed to have Deb on here, but Chris, anything you'd like to add to that? Or?
No, just that this is approved. Well, a couple step back for a second. We had the new owners council, prospective new owner, fill out an application for the IDA. We could have just done a letter. We thought it better to have something in the file where they go through it a little bit more exhaustively. A lot of what you'll see in the application, which is included in your board packet, they put not applicable because it's clearly not applicable to certain things. But the idea would be if you approve this, the IDA, the existing landowner, existing owner of the facility and the new owner would sign what's called an assignment assumption agreement, 3-party agreement with the IDA. They would, like Kevin said, step into the shoes, be on the hook for job benefits, be on the hook for any obligations that are under the IDA documents currently. So it's in effect, they would step into the shoes of the existing owner. Pretty common in our space. We do this quite a bit, but we always get an application to make sure that the IDA board is considered it and kick the tires.
So Chris, the primary benefit to the new owner, of course, is they receive the benefits of the existing pilot
Sure,
agreement.
correct.
That's really what their side of it, right?
Yeah, there was, if you may recall, there was a 12-year pilot on the project. And actually, I believe there was even an additional pilot in place with the Bethlehem IDA.
There is an arrangement in place with the Bethlehem IDA, so we're kind of doing those in parallel. It's not really a pilot agreement, the Bethlehem IDA issued a bond, actually a tax-exempt bond for the Vista Park portion that's in Bethlehem. When a new tenant comes in, they do what's called the splitter agreement. I don't want to bore you too much, but the splitter agreement means when they come in, the new tenant is on the hook for that portion of the bond for their space. So it's complicated. It's a Joe Scott creation. But that's happening concurrently as well. And they had the Bethlehem IDA, which we represent, full disclosure, also approved entering an assigned assumption agreement with regard to those documents. So
you will probably recall that we had 2 IDA applications for the Plug Power deal, one from Columbia Development, through which you bestowed the pilot, and maybe some sales tax exemption, I'm not sure.
I think so.
But there was a separate IDA application directly from Plug Power through which, you invested some $2 million in IDA cash into, and also bestowed some sales tax benefits on Plug Power for the fit up of the property. And none of that is affected by.
Correct,
by this.
and no pilot for that transaction directly with Plug, so everything stays in place.
So the pilot is just a pass through to the lease. And just so everybody knows, Antoinette was just going through the annual report. Plug Power is on target for the job numbers that they had originally estimated. You may see something in the press that Plug Power is reducing their job numbers. That's true worldwide, but in Albany County, they will at least meet the original job estimates, if not exceeded. And that is something the county executive met directly with the CEO, Andy Marsh, who informed him of that as well, so.
And it was reported in the paper today.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
They had a significant loss and indicated that there's a project in place for workforce reduction. They didn't give specifics as to, what areas of the company, but, I guess we'll cross that bridge when they, give us the compliance certificate as it relates to, their job performance. Right?
Yeah, positive, I think, for Plug. There was also an article, I think it was in today's paper, about a $1 billion financing commitment, stock issuance
It's a stock
commitment to provide them with
liquidity.
working capital liquidity.
And I understand they did consummate their loan from the U.S. Department of Energy before the end of last year, so they've got, that runway that cash will provide them as well.
I think we have Nicole on she's Prospective Purchasers Council. If anybody,
There's someone in the waiting
any
room, too.
questions for her? Nicole. You should be Gary.
David and Rick is your role, so.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So this is Chris Canada, folks. Just Kevin O'Connor, the CEO of the IDA, gave a brief introduction of the proposed project, the assignment assumption with regard to the Plug Power facility. I didn't know if you had any specific things you wanted to discuss, or if any of the board members had any specific questions for David and Nicole.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything unless David or Gary, you guys have anything, but anything from our end with transferring the pilot over.
Anyone on the board have any questions for their counsel as it relates to the proposed transaction?
No, I appreciate your description.
Yes, sir.
I think we're
I'm assuming the transaction's purely an economic transaction, right, between those two parties, and
Yep.
if anyone has, any questions, now's your time to voice it, but it seems pretty straightforward as it relates to, someone stepping into someone else's shoes here, and all of their obligations are still,
Yeah.
with the IDA.
And we'll draft the necessary documents.
Right.
Work with Nicole to get those
Okay.
signed up.
Well, if there's no questions, can I get a motion to, approve the assignment?
a motion.
Can we get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so moved. Thank you for your time.
Thanks,
Thank you,
folks.
guys.
Take care.
All right, take care.
Chris, is there any other items as it relates to other business, or?
Not that I'm aware of, Chair.
Okay, I guess we'll move to number 8, open discussion. Board member, anybody have anything to talk about here? No?
I think at our last meeting, we had a presentation by Belinsky's. They're going to be acquiring a building perhaps, but I think I read somewhere that maybe they soured on that deal and decided not. So is that deal dead as far as
I'll
we're
let
concerned?
Kevin respond to it, but you're spot on.
That particular
I wouldn't
building,
mention any particular sites.
the one particular building they were gonna purchase when we met with Stacy from Belinsky's, that property proved not to be a good fit for her.
Okay,
Despite the location, the size, there was some issues that she had some concerns about. we're fine with that. We've shown her a few other buildings, and there's other buildings currently in play. We're working very closely with her, and we expect to bring back a modified application for similar benefits that we approved at the time, based on the new project cost and where she ends up.
So great, in the county.
We are actively looking, yes.
Well, it seemed like when she was here, she kind of indicated that, well, maybe they had opportunities elsewhere in different states.
They're looking in
so,
Missouri and South.
she's-
The paper actually said the existing site, there was opportunity to do,
Yeah.
if I was reading it correctly.
Yeah, she has acreage at her site. There's some things we would need to work on for that, like your typical site in the region, we
Let us know how we can help, it's a nice company to stay.
Yeah, they're very interesting business,
Yeah,
a lot of local history.
Right.
Absolutely.
But the
And
board,
Mr. Belinsky, if any of you think that eating pork sausage, liverwurst, and any of that is bad for you, Mr. Belinsky is still at the ripe old age of about 102, lives across the street from the plant.
Right.
Now.
It's a good testimonial. Yeah.
Right, but the company now is pivoted and they do all organic chicken sausage and products.
Great.
but the board should know we are actively engaged with Stacy. I talk to her at least once a week.
How's the activity been? Have you getting calls or, if people are, looking for space or, you got Regeneron and how's that?
Yeah, Regeneron is, the Manans operation's going well. They bought the old Quad Graphics building up in Saratoga Springs. And they're looking to do a major development up there. So we don't know what that means, if anything, for an expansion in Manans. There are some projects out there, perking along. Quite honestly, we've been somewhat preoccupied with the properties of the College of St. Rose and the demolition of the central warehouse. So, and both of those could perhaps generate business, interest from the idea.
Looks like you secured a demo crew out of Long Island. If I read that correctly. Well, anything else? Anyone else have any questions? Okay, well, executive session, do we need to
I had nothing.
talk about anything? Very good. Well, can I get a motion then to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So be it, we're adjourned. Thank you.
So what I was telling you, so you got appointed by the legislature.